Hello, hello.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Alright, yeah. Sorry about that.
Sweet.
Man, my mic gives me a lot of trouble sometimes.
No worries.
Alright, so we're live. We are in the party. Are you in here? Yes.
I'm in the party, yeah.
Alright, great.
Not sure if I'm in the match, but
Alright, so tonight we've got a best of 7 all pro league, not all kill, but pro league format, so it's gonna be preset 1v1s. And I believe they want to play a master set first, even though the lineup is 2 diamonds, 3 masters, and 2 GMs. So we're gonna have some of the upper level players play tonight, and we are playing against EndPro, as you can see in the title.
yeah, I'm excited to be here. Excited to see you guys stack up against these guys. Excited to see what these guys have to offer. They're South American community, right? Do you know if there's a country in particular they hail from?
I'm not sure exactly, but yeah, I do believe they are South American.
Nice.
And for you guys who don't know who's speaking, I am Droptimus, and I have with me Xtine. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, good one. Some people screw that one up. They call me X-Teen, and it really like gets my gears going.
All right, cool.
Yeah. This is like my first StarCraft cast in maybe like 6 years.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, okay.
Wow.
That's a lot of time.
Yeah.
No
Way
worries.
back in the day. Yeah, I did a show match. The Torch played in it. And I don't know, I think a little bit before that I did some warm-up videos. Like Husky StarCraft actually came through for me like way back in the day. So I started off with this is X to the Tine, Xtine.
Oh,
like
okay.
A shout out to Husky.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Anyways.
All right. Let's see. So it looks like we're in the party. We've got the players here. Just looking for maybe a map, or are we doing vetoes?
Good question. My first time here. I think we are getting all 7 games tonight, right? Droptimus, kind of regardless of results.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Awesome. And what race do you play, Droptimus?
I'm a Terran player.
Ooh, Terran. Okay, cool.
Yeah. I mean, I've played all the races extensively, but I always main with Terran.
Yeah, that's one of the fun things about StarCraft is just these different aspects. I play a lot of different games, and in all these different games, I get pulled in these different ways to characters or ways of playing that I love.
Yeah.
And I play Zerg.
Cool. Yep, lots of different races, lots of different play styles, lots of different unit compositions you can go with.
Carrier has arrived.
I apologize, I don't have that showing, but we did just... Okay, it's a follow from OG Slayer. Thank you very much for that follow. I don't know, can you hear that notification?
I cannot. No.
Okay, I'll try and switch it over to the correct slide, because I think it was on the wrong slide, but yeah, whenever that comes in, I'll be sure to give you a call out. Alright, so we've got the players set and ready. We're not sure of the map just yet, though, so we're still talking some things over. Should get started here momentarily.
Matchup here. I know you mentioned it was one of the masters.
Right, it's going to be November, which is one of our officers.
Excellent.
Recently just all killed a clan in our last clan war. Went 4-0 against, what was the clan? I forgot. I can look it up real quick. It was against Validity Gaming? Yeah. November killed a Master 3 twice, I think, or it was a Diamond. No, it was a Master 3 twice, and then a Master 1 twice. And she's only a Master 3, so she definitely outperformed herself there with incredible results. So we'll see what she can do tonight.
And what race does November play?
She's a Protoss.
Nice.
Right, and it looks like they have decided to use a player named Abomination, if I'm looking at the chat correctly.
Cool.
And let me see. It is a Master 1 Zerg player, previously in GM.
Oh, okay, nice. So maybe slip down, maybe sandbagging, maybe just a little out of practice. That I will see, but maybe just getting passed up by that new blood though. There's always new blood coming out, trying to level up their game and overtake those old dogs of StarCraft. I know that's
Absolutely.
sort of always been my inspiration, playing my friend who's got some old dog StarCraft tricks. I had to show him that APM and speed, can
Definitely.
overcome instinct sometimes, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it looks like we are just having a little bit of a debate about things in the chat, but I'm sure this clan war going to get underway fairly soon, and then games will just be banged out back to back after that. So thanks so much for joining us tonight, guys. Yeah, I've been getting back into StarCraft, brawling against my buddy. Definitely, I like a variety of esports. I compete most in Team Fortress. I play a lot of Dota as well, but StarCraft is just super fun cross training for me.
Yeah, man.
I have so much respect for it.
Yeah, and it's a super great time to get into it too, because it's just gone free to play. So lots of new players, lots of content out there. Like I know Pig's doing a lot of things with Let's Learn StarCraft, like the very basics. So like we can bring in like a bunch of all these new people. But yeah, I myself, I dabble a little bit in the other esports. I play a little Overwatch. I played a ton of CS:GO.
Nice.
I've played a little bit of Dota, not much though.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's about it. Main thing, StarCraft. Tons and tons of StarCraft.
I've been trying to convince my StarCraft buddy that Dota, is where it's at. But it's definitely different strokes for different folks,
Yeah.
And StarCraft has a lot of perks, a lot of pros, in terms of the experience that you're looking for. Oh, okay. So I'm gonna get added to the game. I don't really see the lobby, but I'm in the party. Sorry to just freak out. But...
Yeah, I think we've got the players set now, because there was some confusion about who was supposed to play.
Master 3 is the lower tier, so they were saying that they actually didn't have a Master 3 player available, or...
Yeah. Yeah,
okay,
that's
cool,
what they're saying, yeah.
Well, look forward to seeing November step up to the challenge then. Yeah, definitely with the game going free to play, you can play against the AI, you can play ranked, you can play ladder. The campaign is a good way to just kind of chill out, play some single player, get a little bit of that cross training.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
You just have to pay after the first campaign, but all the campaigns are pretty solid.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you played any of the co-op?
My one friend that I've mainly been playing StarCraft with isn't too interested in like diverse AI experience. So I've only dabbled in it a little bit, but I have a bunch of other friends that like I've been seeing StarCraft and hearing about it lately. They're kind of interested in dabbling their feet a little bit, so I'm hoping that some of them are interested in playing co-op with me, because it seems like a pretty fun experience with just kind of the different generals that it offers, right? Because kind of get some different strats that come out, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really great. I love it myself. I just play it, when I'm too tired to play ladder or something. It's a very casual, so it's a great way to sit back and relax and still get your StarCraft fix. But ways that it's different from ladder is that it's like there's a lot more different upgrades that you don't get in ladder. Like it's just really cool. Lots of different upgrades, lots of different units and hero abilities and stuff. Very diverse. Yeah, it's really fun stuff. It would be great for like a new player.
And is the public matchmaking for it, like if you're solo, pretty decent? Like people
Oh
are
yeah,
pretty friendly. Yeah, cool.
yeah. I mean,
There's
there are
no,
some
like,
people.
not much pressure on winning though, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are some people that get a little too serious, but
Yeah.
yeah, but
That's
you
that's
know, that's
always
with everything. That's with
yeah.
everywhere you go.
I always start my games off with "Good luck, have fun, don't hate," which is a little wordy for StarCraft and kind of catches people off guard. It
Yeah.
probably puts them on guard, right? They're
Yeah.
like, "Ah, this guy's cheesing me." Well, I'm definitely looking forward to these games. StarCraft is hype.
Yeah, hopefully we can get started here soon here. So apologies for the delay here. Yeah, we had all of our players in order, like set up, ready to go before the before it started, but at the last minute the player the guy running it from their team wanted to switch up one of the slots, use a master first. So we're just trying to figure a couple things out, but we've got mostly everything taken care of. We're just doing vetoes now, so it should be any moment now we'll get into the lobby.
What's the? I know that GSL is getting into swing. When did the BlizzCon?
Yes.
When does like BlizzCon qualifiers like really start getting into swing again? Kind of a couple months or.
Well, the BlizzCon, the 16 people that qualify for BlizzCon will be the 16 top performing players of the entire year.
Okay.
So
cool.
yeah,
Like the
BlizzCon's not going to happen until November of this year. So until then, we'll have a bunch of events like we have IEM coming up, and we have Leipzig, I think is how you say it, coming up at the end of this month.
Hack and ESL kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool.
We have GSL starting tomorrow night. Is the first air.
Awesome.
Tomorrow night at 11 p.m. Eastern, I believe. I could be.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So it's going to be at an American-friendly time.
Where is that shown on Twitch? Or,
Yes. It'll be.
Okay, awesome.
It'll definitely be the top first stream on StarCraft when you go to the StarCraft category.
Oh, Vito. So seems like figuring out the map, but we're almost there. Slayer, pick a map. Classic wrangling cats.
Okay, so it looks like now we're switching. So November's not going to be playing. Looks like Slayer's going to come in and play. More of a even match for their player. So, because they're both Master 1 players now. Slayer is Master 1.
Ascension to R was picked, but now we sort of getting another question. WCS game hard, is that?
Oh yeah, it's like a mod. It's not super important, but it would be definitely helpful.
Cool.
It's like a mod that just does some like gets the viewing experience slightly better. Like when a bunch of workers go down, it'll tell you exactly how many workers just died to that attack. You know.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's something. Overwatch is a cool game, but I know that Overwatch's spectator stuff is still kind of getting worked out, and I'm not entirely too sure up to date on it myself, but I know that with TF2 we have a lot of customized community-made stuff, and that's cool that that stuff exists for StarCraft. So, all right, WCS game hard. Awesome. I'm excited to kick this clan war off, ladies and gentlemen. It's gonna be our first match
between Slayer and Abomination. Yeah, it'll be a Terran versus Zerg.
TVZ, this is my bread and butter right here. Man.
Yeah, mine
Courier has
too.
arrived.
Yeah, nice.
XV Tough Guy VX, thank you very much for the follow.
Awesome, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I think Terran vs Zerg is a favorite matchup among lots of people. It's that classic human versus alien, you know, kind of fight.
Yeah, you got Zerglings, you got siege tanks, you got Mutalisks,
Yeah.
you got Thors, you
Lots
got
of action.
Ultralisks.
Yeah.
Lords.
It's probably my favorite matchup to play and watch.
Yeah, yeah. It's a real nail biter. I mean, you can get a lot of early aggression plays that are interesting. Whether the Zerg is getting up in the Terran's face with the Lings and Banelings, or whether the Terran kind of bunkers up and then just kind of like wheels out with some strong tech.
All right, so in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the Teal Terran from Psionic Aftermath. First player for the night, gonna be Slayer.
Yeah, top left is EndPro's Abomination on the Zerg.
All right. Ascension to Ire, very common map. It's been around for a few months now. Actually, I think this is its third season in the ladder pool, so it's been around for quite a while. Very familiar map to everybody playing.
Yeah, it seems like a real solid, straightforward map. Nothing crazy in terms of rush distance.
Yeah.
And you know, nothing too crazy in terms of like middle of the map, like rock formations and whatnot. But fairly natural, you know, like expansions out and just kind of how the game develops. And indeed, looks like we are getting fairly natural things so far, with our Zergling starting his second hatchery. Zerg player.
Yeah. Gas first build from the Terran. So possibly going to be opening with Hellions is a very common opener in the matchup currently. Possibly a Banshees or a fast third CC to follow up with that.
Yeah, I've had a few of my games just kind of get thrown off by that transition of, you know, I want to go into a Zergling Bane opener and use that as the base of my army, but when you get that early mech, all of a sudden I kind of like panic and start throwing down roaches or kind of start shifting in other directions. And that's definitely, you know, just in StarCraft, you want to keep your opponent on your toes. Right now, the players haven't really engaged much, but a Reaper is on its way. And we'll see what that can do for scouting for a Terran player here.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no Zerglings on the way, no aggression looking like coming out of the Zerg player. Couple Zerglings about to pop now, but I'm sure those are just defensive to fend off the Reaper, try and prevent any worker kills.
Yeah, we're about at the crucial point in that Zerg build where we're going to see if he does want to make an early aggressive play, or, you know, particularly if he has another sort of like timing play in mind and a particular technology that he can go for.
Yeah.
Similarly, we're hitting that timing with our Terran player. He's building a reactor on his barracks and has that factory ready, which you might just see him do the lift and swap, but he hasn't lifted that factory yet, actually. So third base going down for the Zerg as well.
Hold on a second, sorry.
Just the harass coming out from the Reaper on that third base, so he spotted that, but, you know, considering he himself isn't like preparing any Marines or like a large batch of Marines, that's not really going to change the situation. Definitely might run out with those Hellions a little bit earlier, but I'm sure that with Baneling or Zergling speed, our Zerg player Abomination isn't going to be too worried about just, you know, kind of two Hellions coming out.
Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Four. No worries. Starport are also getting finished here. And might do another swapperoo on the building here with the barracks. No, just going to push out a Viking first.
Okay, yeah. Get clear out those overlords from around his map so that they don't see the Banshee when it comes out, if it does. So Banshee might be a little bit later, but it might catch the Zerg player off by surprise.
Slayer's also going to get a wall posted up, a line of 3 supply depots going out, and a barracks floating over as well. Third base of our Zerglings starting to get established, but the Reaper and the Hellions on the side here. Overlord's going to see him a little bit early. Queen is there to match him. Zerglings coming over. Going to be engaging that foot siege. Got a lot of damage on one Hellion already. It's pretty good defense, and baneliness has gone down. And just going to be a little bit of standoff here for the Zerg player. We also have Cloaking Field being researched, so the Zerg will have to be prepared for that. That's just kind of an important technological step here for the player.
Yeah, he'll need to get some kind of detection.
Yeah, layer is mostly finished, so
right.
As long as he just kind of follows up with spore crawlers or those whatchamacallums.
Overseers, yeah, he'll be able to pop those out quite quickly. And Abomination did get an Overlord into Slayer's base, and he didn't see the starport on the tech lab, but he saw the tech lab kind of without a building and the starport right next to it, so he can kind of guess that it's going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm a little curious as to how he doesn't have, or why he doesn't have any spores yet. But again, he doesn't have a lair, so he can just make that Overseer. Oh, there it is.
He does
okay.
have one. He has one ready. He just started popping some banelings as well, just to make sure that he's got some ground forces here to deal with this Hellions. He's got quite a few queens here though, so he's been cranking those out. Feels pretty comfy with that. And looks like he's on his way for having some Hydras as well. Hasn't actually started making any, but has the tech there and getting the upgrade for him.
Alright, so the Banshee flies into the third hatchery and pretty much dies immediately. Doesn't really get too much done. The Hellions, on the other hand, traded with a bunch of Zerglings and lost quite a bit of those Hellions, but escapes with about 4.
The scan here by Slayer just looks at the main base, but there's nothing there. No tech for him to get any information from. It's all elsewhere, so he's not really quite sure. Also not entirely sure if he has spotted that fourth base that's down in the bottom left.
I can
He's
check.
now...
Yeah, he
Slayer
has no idea.
Okay, Slayer has now landed his third base. Especially with those mules, a Terran can get that third base cranking pretty quickly. But he definitely has been slipping behind in the macro war here.
Getting that third base fully saturated. Oh, and he's got 2 factories up and running now with tech labs, so definitely going to be doing the mech style.
Yeah, he's going to need to lock down and get a good just siege tank, kind of a defensive line, and hope that actually he can maybe stage a comeback in the macro war, win a favorable battle against this Zerg player. Maybe get some harass in, or just find some sort of effective distraction for a while.
Yeah, he'll probably try and do some harassment with those Hellions. I know he just scouted the 4th with the Banshee, lost the Banshee to the Hydras, so we do know that he knows about the tech pad in which the Zerg is gone at this point.
Yeah,
only one tank here. Kind of lackluster for a defense against all these Hydras. I mean, there are a lot of Hellions there, and while they do a lot of damage, they also die very easily.
Yeah. And Slayer is building another command center, so we're going to have to see an important engagement here where he's going to have to get that landed and get his next base up. As a Zerg player lets that happen, he definitely could slip a little bit further behind, or just lose his advantage, rather, a little bit more. And with these Hellions in the center of the map, is looking to engage here. We do have some Overlords. They are just going to be dropping... Oh, okay, no, they're just going to be moving around. I thought maybe they would just drop him on the other side of that cliff or something. But he's going to do a full-on drop play with those 5 Overlords. 20 Hydras in there. Bringing some Zerglings and making some Banelings to support this.
Yeah, this is a lot of Zerg units.
Yeah. It's definitely going to be a great drop here.
Yeah, no turrets or anything in the main. No defense at all. 2 tanks about to pop out, but they might...
Yeah.
Okay, 1 tank pops out. Man, that is a ton of... They're all Hydras, all in the main. And he moves his entire army to go deal with that, while the other half of the Zerg army goes to hit the third. So this is not looking good for Slayer, sorry.
No, for sure. That was a great timing on that Hydra drop. He's going to have those get cleaned up as the tanks have reestablished themselves, but they cleared out that 3rd base. The command center going down.
Oh my God.
What was going to be the 4th base now has to be the 3rd base. That's going to land in the top right. But nothing has been there to start mining. He's also reloading those overlords to bring them in again as really only 1 sieged up tank, or no, 2, excuse me, are left behind. He's going to see those though and drop the Hydras right on top of them, so that's really going to minimize their effectiveness with some Hydras coming in and attacks on the front line as well. Queen's actually being rallied in, but not that many forces, so the Hydra's doing some work though, just sitting right on top of the production line, so it's definitely tough for the Terran to get more forces out, get the forces needed produced to deal with these Zerg Hydralisks. The Hydralisks though still maybe not finding the most effective battles here. But at this point, the advantage is so large that Abomination, I don't think, really cares. You know?
Right, definitely. His Slayer's worker count has diminished down to about 30, so he's lost a ton of SCVs. He also has only half of the army supply of the Zerg player. Still struggling to clean all of this up.
Yeah, Abomination just has Overlords just hovering over the base. GG is called. And there we have it. The first battle going
EndPro
to
takes game 1.
Abomination. It was just a pretty solid game. You know, got a macro lead with just kind of his build and the amount of bases that he built up to. And Slayer never really kind of brought any sort of aggression that could disrupt that. And Abomination just kept doing his thing.
Yeah,
pretty much what I felt like.
Yeah, pretty straightforward game.
Yeah.
While the army supply difference in the beginning of that wasn't too big, the timing and the direction of attack that Abomination came with, that double-pronged attack, a huge drop in the main, and then attacking the third right after the whole army moves, that was just perfect. He killed the command center, killed a bunch of workers, killed a bunch of production. Very well done there by Abomination.
Yeah, definitely. And you can see in the graphs there that it was basically around like the 6-minute mark where, you know, Abomination probably had that 3rd base saturated and was getting to that 4th where just had that little bit extra economy that then enabled him to build that army just a little bit bigger and then leverage that advantage to, you know, like you talked about, you know, prevent that 3rd expansion from really getting rolling of the Terran. You know, the Terran was kind of stuck in a kind of defensive positioning, and then when he had to shift into that 3rd, just wasn't, you know, it wasn't early enough, and he wasn't ready to defend it. So definitely a really great drop, though. That's what that drop of Hydras behind is really what opened things up. Personally, I'm working on implementing that into my game. Seeing that from the Zerg players, because you have just like the classic Terrans doing medvac drops all over the place and creating a lot of trouble. So it's great to see the Terran players getting a taste of their own medicine. Thanks for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Game 2 of this clan war coming up. Endless Pro Gaming. Pro League, excuse me. Up 1-0 right now.
Trying to get our player in here. Looks like the guy that was supposed to play first, or was supposed to be playing next, is AFK, but we do have the other diamond we could try to play. He's currently in a game, so might be a moment here before we get the next game started.
Yep, that's all right. Nice try by Slayer, Psionic Aftermath member, in that game. Wasn't quite able to make it happen, but shout out to them for showing up and representing.
Yeah, definitely. Supporting the team. Alright, we do have a player here. It's going to be Snow.
Nice.
Another one of our officers, I believe. If that's the same Snow that is in the Discord as Pixie.
Snowy.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's the same person. I think it is. There's an officer in our Discord named Snow. Just waiting on a map pick. It will be our player's turn to pick a map. Anything except Ascension, since we just played it.
So just double checking what race his opponent is. What race is Snow?
Looks like a Protoss.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Well, yeah. This person's highest. They've played all of the races, but it looks like their highest ranked race is with Protoss. Okay, I'm getting confirmation now from Snoopy that this is not the Snow that I'm thinking of. The Snow that I'm thinking of as an officer also goes by Pixie, and this is a different person. So, nevertheless, it's a Diamond 1 Protoss player for our first Diamond slot.
Wait, this is Pixie, you were saying, or?
No, it's not. It's a different person. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Pixie, I believe, is a platinum player in one of our officers.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah. So we have the map is going to be Odyssey for game 1, and it's going to be a Protoss versus Zerg.
That's another pretty fun matchup.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all pretty fun.
Yep. I mean, who doesn't like laser beams, right?
and the alien insects, you know.
Getting into game 2, the score is currently 1-0 in EndPro's favor. And this is a best of 7, so first to 4 points will take the series.
Are playing all 7 though, right?
Yes, I do believe so. Yeah, we're going to be playing all 7 games. Hopefully.
Yeah, it would be fun. I mean, let's
I don't see
players
why
get
not.
everybody some practice. Yep,
Yeah.
for sure. That's my feeling on it. I'm gonna do the introductions, Droptimus.
Yeah, let's start in the bottom right-hand corner. We have the pink Protoss from Psionic Aftermath. His name is Snow E. You want to take it away for the Zerg?
Yep, our Zerg in the top left. It's gonna be Elputas. Well, we'll say it like that or something. Elputas.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
I think that's
what
right.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It must be something backwards because that just like doesn't make sense otherwise. Anyways, he's on the Zerg. We're gonna see, probably a normal build from him because it does seem like he's sending that drone out for that 17 hatchery.
Yep, Probe barely doesn't get there in time to do any type of blocking, harass, or anything like that, so a little bit unfortunate for him, but
Yeah, I'll be alright. Snowy also looks like going for that wall off and early expand. Again, nothing kind of abnormal from the Zerg player yet. And our Protoss player just waiting a half second to get his second Nexus going. Get that wall a little bit more solid as well.
yeah,
Yeah, no second here.
probably going to be throwing down a Cyber, and there it is. Pool's about halfway up.
Yeah, so probably we'll just be seeing a couple Zerglings to poke and prod at the Protoss player, see what's happening.
Right, get some scouting in, try to get some information. Also,
Yep.
we'll have overlords around the base to help with that.
Gets those queens coming too, of course. And we'll see what the game plan is for our Protoss players shortly here. What sort of units that they want to go for right now. Just bringing in one Zealot, no big deal.
And the
dropping the
Twilight
Twilight
Council. Finish off that wall.
Does that make Blink Stalkers a little bit more likely with Twilight Council?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I would say Blink Stalkers is probably a safe bet. We'll probably also see an Robo come down here shortly. Usually those are built together.
And instead going for 2 more gateways there.
Yep. Let's see. Oh, it could be DTs as well. Okay, it's charge
Yeah.
actually for Zealots. Is what he's researching out of the Twilight.
Okay, interesting. And Baneling Nest and now the Evolution Chamber going down for Elputus. Because he doesn't really have on at the moment, but getting that getting that third hatch down as well. And the Speedlings finishing up. Has some Overseers or Overlords in position to do a little bit more scouting. One just at the front door and another waiting to kind of float in when convenient later. Looks like Zerglings being sent on the way. And does have that Baneling Nest, so might be a little bit more aggressive with his poking and prodding here.
Three Zealots in position at this wall here, so Zerglings won't be able to do too much.
Yeah, and 3 more coming in as well.
Shield battery going down. Can't never be too safe. I mean, Zerg, you never know.
Carrier has
You're gonna get
arrived.
Poland.
You could be safer against the Overseer, Overlord, excuse me, again, speaking a little bit, who's going to be going for that Baneling drop on the left-hand side. So a little bit of damage might be coming out here for our Protest player. He's feeling pretty comfy with those charge lots. But a 4th Baneling a little bit behind the others. So 3 banelings ready to go right now, but waiting for that 4th one. And
wow, lots of gates going down in the main.
yeah, these banelings will be coming from that angle to see it, as the Overlord actually is going to drop the banelings off on the first. The Zealots, meanwhile, are also getting fairly aggressively positioned towards that 3rd. Have chased off drones that are over there.
Oh yeah, the banelings aren't going to get morphed in. Maybe one comes through. Baneling's going into the main mineral line now, though. Let's see how good the connections are. Oh, no reaction at all. 10 workers go down. But on the other side of the map, he's doing damage to his 3rd, so see what he can do. He'll probably end up taking it down. Doesn't look like there's anything to respond to this.
It might be a decent exchange here, though, because he's got 10 roaches coming out, so these Zealots are not really going to last much longer. And the economic damage, I mean, the Zealots did just get recalled there, and will be able to kind of form a defensive force, form the backbone of that. But I think our Zerg player, he spent a lot on army right now. He's sending that army across the map, but we should be seeing him re-expand pretty shortly here, I think.
Yeah, definitely wants to get another hatchery up, unless he really thinks he can end the game now, which I don't know about that, because he has lots of roaches, but Zealots, well, aren't the best against roaches. I mean, with enough of them, you can get it done. I mean, oh man, more banelings coming in at the natural, 10 more probes going down. And the roaches are going back home. I think you just fight him because he's losing them for nothing. At least if you fought them, he could maybe kill one or two.
Get some damage. Yeah. Well, certainly focus-wise, it's a little bit easier to just send him home, but he's just bleeding roaches right now.
Yeah.
And our Protoss player, Snow, is going to pop that Warp Prism open and start sending in some units, getting ready to go. There is a bulk of roaches here, but doesn't really seem like it would be enough against the swarm of Zealots. I guess we'll be finding out the answer to that in just a second here as the battle does start getting underway. Some Stalkers in here as well. Spine Crawler had to get canceled here, but the shape of the Zerg structures here do make it difficult for the Protoss player to engage. And we are going to get into kind of some economics here, but Zerg player still in trouble here.
Yeah, not looking too bright for the Zerg player. So many units here.
Ooh.
Very good.
A couple
yeah, very good baneling connections though. But there's a War Prism right outside the base. You can just constantly, and all those gateways down, just constantly. Nice micro with the Mortal focusing down that Spine Crawler. Definitely optimizing the damage output of these units.
Immortal does go down. More roaches are going to be popping here. That this is definitely getting into a difficult situation for Elputus here.
Yeah, 13 drones going down. He's now down to 19. More Zealots streaming in. I think this may be the end of the game here. And there it is, the GG.
He does call it. And those charge lots really did good work. Basically, it was just kind of too strong, and Zerglings are not the best exchange there. So Elputus getting kind of outshined by the build of Psyx, and definitely was countered there. So well performed there by Psyx. Sorry, Snowy, and even things up for Psionic Aftermath versus
1-1.
Yeah,
we've got a series.
Yes, indeed. So we're going to be going the limits. Hopefully, either way, we are going the limits, I guess, but making the matches a little bit more important, I should say. And that was a fun one.
Definitely.
We saw Elputus. I thought he would be able to kind of persevere with getting that third hatch up a little bit early. Nice drops in there with banelings, but banelings cost money, and he wasn't able to survive the counterattack, with what he had invested in that attack, and also that he had expanded to 3 bases. If he had just maybe attacked with that, and then was ready with the Roach follow up off of 2 bases, that probably would have been his game, But definitely the Zerg kind of needs to expand.
Yeah, that's true.
So. just kind of odd timing for him, unfortunately. I think, like I said too, I mean, if it I'm ignorantly said that maybe it was Blink Stalkers, and I think if it was Blink Stalkers, then those Zerglings would have done a little bit better. But to do that sort of Zergling bangling attack and then have your opponent be going charge lots, and he lost those roaches, and it's just difficult to come to battle through that.
True.
I believe if he had roach speed there, right, those roaches would have been able to get away safely. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, what?
If he had the roach speed, those roaches would have been able to
Oh,
run away
yeah,
safely,
yeah,
right?
I think so. Well, with charge, I think he'd probably be able to kill a few because the zealots would
Right,
be able
the
to get
proc
one
of-
swipe off each time they
Right.
charged up.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that
But
still wouldn't be
definitely
ideal,
would've-
but
well, he ended up losing
Yeah.
all of those roaches.
yeah, for sure. And that was maybe the thing, that being focused on that attack or thinking that he got that more out of that attack. If he didn't have the
Yeah.
speed roaches ready, then he, probably lost a lot more roaches than he was anticipating.
All right. So,
One of go ahead.
I was just saying, it looks like they're picking a map, but that doesn't. I don't think that's a map that we have right now. I don't know if he misspelled something. I don't know. What were you gonna say?
Oh, just that game seemed like one of those matches, or similar to my match earlier. I had personally, or just kind of, you think you're in the lead, you're doing good, you're pushing in with your army, and then all of a sudden you realize that like your entire army just died, and you don't have anything left.
Yeah.
You're like, oh shit,
Yeah.
That's sort of what happened with those roaches. Is he's like, oh, I had such a good drop, I killed a bunch of people. And then he just kind of pushed forward with the roaches, and then his, engaged with his army against those zealots, and just got crushed. Do you happen to know what our race matchup is for this next one?
Looks like a ZVT.
Okay, awesome. And this is our last of the Masters, our first tier. Is that also sort of correct, or we are sort
Oh,
of
no,
moved
this is
past
our-
that, or?
No, this is our second diamond slot, so
Okay, cool.
yeah, this will be. We've done one master slot and one diamond slot. This will be our second diamond slot, second and last, and then we'll continue the last two masters, and then we'll get to the GMs after
Okay,
that.
perfect. So Terran for EndPro, and Zerg for Psionic
Right.
Aftermath.
Yep.
Tied 1-1 in this clan war. I am Eckstein, casting with Droptimus on the camera.
Yep.
Thanks for running camera, man.
Mhm.
And this is our third game of this clan war between Endless Pro and Psionic Aftermath. Psionic Aftermath, we dropped the first one, but picked up that second game with some strong play there. Now Hazard Dow. Let's see what he's got here on the Zerg versus Quicksilver's Terran.
All right. So in the top left-hand corner, we have the green Terran from EndPro. His name is Quicksilver.
Starts off with that nice little hi.
Mhm.
Up against Psionic Aftermath's Hazard AU. Hazard Cold Hazard. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm new here. I don't know everybody's pronunciations. I'm sorry, I'm that guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, most of the time you'll just have to guess.
Well, yeah, classic. So again, game just getting rolling here, and have to see how these players choose to develop things on this map.
It looks like the Zerg player is going for a hatch first, sending that drone down. More of a macros.
Classic stuff.
And the Terran has gone for gas first. Very standard stuff so far.
Yeah, for sure. We're hitting that point, which is kind of gas, and then spawning pool for Hazard coming out. We have our scouting SCV on the way. He's going to be able to see it all. Nothing defensively, without that without those Zerglings up yet.
Yep.
Kind of tucks over to the side here, but And we'll have to see as the Terrans player, Barrick, finishes up what he chooses to use it for with that hatch first. He's going to pump out a Reaper first here.
Mm-hmm.
Just running that SCV around with impunity right now.
Yep, gonna go move over to the third, see if there's any really fast third hatch, but there is not.
Also kind of fakes out, or, you know, it's going to keep the Zerg player honest. He's going to have to scout over that way just to make sure that there's no crazy
Right.
barracks or anything coming
Yeah.
out. Hazard gets the Speedling upgrade on its way, as it should be. He's got his queens, got a couple Zerglings on the way. Hasn't chosen to transfer workers yet to balance anything out, but the first Reaper on its way from the Terran player.
Yeah, gonna run right past some Zerglings. These Zerglings are gonna get caught off creep, so they'll probably both end up going down.
Yeah, he's gonna double back for that second one. Doesn't have a second Reaper on the way. That would pretty convenient under the circumstances to be like, okay, well, I can stop his scouting Zergs, and he's got 2 less if I send those guys into the base. But the scouting Zerg is going to be able to catch that command center going up. Supply depot is raised, and the Zergling is killed. And we got second barracks is up with the tech lab building factory going as well. So factory is kind of utilized to, you know, build a reactor for a starport, or you know, start pushing out siege tanks. A couple options here for the Terran player, Zerg player as well. Just getting that Baneling nest as a setup, or as a backup, excuse me. And probably we'll be sending a little bit more scouting in a second here to see exactly what's going on with our Terran player and his game plan as this match moves forward. He's going to see the Baneling nest, but that's nothing too like freaky, right?
Yeah, not this late in the game. It's pretty standard. Oh,
No
actually,
third base though, you know,
yeah,
at this
no
point.
third base. So,
Oh wow, there's a lot of Banelings that he's forming right.
yeah, right.
He's
in
gonna
front
scout
of,
these.
Yeah, I don't know if that was such a great idea, but I mean, Quicksilver has full knowledge of what's gonna happen now.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good considering he's gonna be able to get these 2 supply depots for free and get a contain rolling here. And this is definitely one of my tactics against my friend. You know, if I'm able to just keep him locked on that first base for a bit, I can tech up, I can start those Banelings, even if I don't really go for a bust here. But he is going to go for a bust. He's got his opponent's supply lock right now, and those Banelings coming in. Oh, gosh! Marines exploding, and a swarm of Zerglings forces out the quick GG of Quicksilver.
Yeah, swift GG there.
Yeah, well, you know, sometimes you get a long game of StarCraft, and sometimes you get a short game of StarCraft.
Mm-hmm.
Great job on that. I mean, you know, just the way that map is structured out. He was trying to wall, but you know, that's like a wide wall you have to make to deal with all those angles.
Yeah.
He didn't have his force in position yet. Probably should have like gotten that command center, you know, or just gotten his forces a little bit more established and then floated it out there. So it just wasn't prepared for that well-timed pressure from Hazard.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, no third hatch there, so maybe, you know, could have had anything there with Reaper, because, you know, Quicksilver was kind of up in the face of the Zerg player. You know, had an opportunity to kind of sniff out what was headed his way, but, you know, just kind of caught off guard by the Zerg swarm. That's just how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, bunker didn't get set up in time.
Yeah, and I mean, he was on the, you know, saw those Banelings, but, you know, that was pretty much over at that point.
Yeah, not much he could have done, right?
Yeah, yeah. So, strong pickup there by the Psionic Aftermath squad in the Diamond battle.
Yeah.
Our last Diamond ranked battle, as we are going to return to Masters. And we have 4 matches left, so regardless of result. But Psionic Aftermath up 2-1 right now in this 7-game Clan War.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have our next player chosen. It's going to be November. Protoss player.
Do we know who November's playing against?
Not quite yet. Still waiting on them to get their player in here.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take this moment to go use the bathroom while we have this downtime. I'll be right back in like 30 seconds.
Sounds good. Quick action, Jackson.
Alright, I'm back.
Nice.
So it looks like Raz is going to be their next player.
Okay, nice.
Zerg, maybe?
Ooh, some more Protoss versus Zerg.
Just getting vetoes underway now.
Nice. Looks like Catalyst, at least where we're heading right now.
Yep, one of the smaller maps in the ladder pool at the moment.
All right.
has arrived.
Protoss versus Zerg, November. She's going to be representing for Psionic Aftermath here in this matchup as a Protoss player up against Raza on the Zerg.
Yep. Guys, I'm really sorry. I don't know why. I can't see the people following. I hear the notification, but it's not showing up on the on OBS. It's really weird. I don't know why. I can get it to show up if I switch scenes and come back, but I don't know why it's giving me problems. I'll try and get that fixed for next stream. Anyway, we're into this next fourth game. In the top left-hand corner, we have the pink Protoss from Psionic Aftermath. Her name is November. You want to take it away for the bottom right?
Yup. It's going to be EndPro's Raza playing the Zerg. Right now, nothing crazy. Going to send that drone out at 17 for that second hatch. Pretty standard on most of the maps these days. Does actually sort of stiff himself, I think, just for a half second there, getting another drone out in between.
Oh,
the Protoss, I know, right?
we got a forge.
Ooh, forge first. That's exciting.
Yeah, and a pylon going down at this hatchery, so looks like we're going to be seeing a cannon rush.
The EndPro players were getting a little cheeky, and some of the observation chat. And November, responded with kindness earlier, but it turns out that there was cheese in there.
Yeah.
Wrapped in cheese. Really? Really? No, not really. That's pretty hilarious. No,
It's
not
an
really.
illusion.
It is an illusion. Nothing is real, my friend. So I was. Why sis, please? Why sis? I was telling somebody about just StarCraft games, and cheese is just an honorable tradition, honorable part of StarCraft. Second cannon being canceled, now being put down again. 2 more cannons actually.
Yeah, I'm confused as to why she canceled it. I know why. It's because she wanted to make sure that he didn't cancel the hatchery.
Yeah, pretty much. And he did throw down another hatch, try to just get things rolling, but is going to be stuck with that natural expansion hatch. Going to go down to these cannons.
Yeah.
Sad face.
A baneling nest, that could definitely help, but won't save this hatchery. It won't be enough time for that. Hatchery's definitely going down, but there's going to be another hatchery going up at the third top right position.
Yeah, that's certainly a loss. A bunch of Zerglings being built, and
yeah, he'll probably just try to counterattack with like a baneling bust.
Yeah,
Looks like
November's
Zerglings across the map.
single probe does survive here, so looks like gonna try to run that probe around as a distraction.
Yeah,
We'll see if Raza does kill that probe though.
Oh
my god.
Did not see the baneling nest. Did not see the baneling nest.
No, didn't get a pylon down either. That just would have been a nice little distraction for a little bit. Do have a good 5 banelings being formed up.
And even if, there's such a very good wall here. I mean, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Wall,
Not too many Zerglings there though, and the wall's going back. About 5 Zerglings got through. There's just really a stalker up though. 2 of those Zerglings going to turn into Banelings in the bottom left. We'll have to keep an eye on those. 4 Zerglings versus 1 stalker. Probe's being pulled off the line. He's trying to suck him a little bit in towards those Banelings. See him now. He has to cancel though. So now this is just turning into a big distraction play. He's got his main base saturated, but no drones on the second base. Now starting to build a couple. But also doesn't really have a whole lot of gas available for building more Banelings. Doesn't have the tech to drop Banelings in the back line right now. So we'll see how this transitions. But this game going from cheese to macro cheese.
Game paused.
Okay, so a pause is going in.
Okay.
Apparently, Raz is having an issue with the sound. He's ready already.
Yeah, November. Okay, cool. It's just a short pause here. Just a short pause. Which is good. No shenanigans here. We do have the Stalker pushing the 1 Overlord out. The swarm of Zerglings are just going to see what's up at the base here. Some gateways being dropped in behind that wall. So November really committing.
Transport overlords being dropper lords being so he's gonna
Yeah,
be
that's really
dropping
going to be
these
that's really going to be the route here. Because November is going to have to get a physical army together here to deal with this. The one stalker is not going to be enough here as the Zerglings eventually.
But she doesn't even have warp
that
gate.
out. No.
And she only has 1 gateway, and it's not
On the other side of the wall?
Yeah, it's on the other side of the wall. She couldn't even get units in there. I think this might be it.
Man. Yeah, it might be G's.
Banelings are in now. Gonna go for the.
Oh god, it's gonna be glorious. Oh!
Man, that last second turn.
Not the full explosion, but
yeah, still got 10 down to 10 losses. 10 workers losses.
oh yeah, she's in trouble here. I mean, she's gonna lose the cybernetics core. There's no Zerglings on hand ready to drop in there, but at this point, the second base for the Zerg player, Raza here, is fully saturated. The main Nexus is going to go down, and desperation times here. And the Oracle being warped in, so that actually, getting a little bit of an Air Force here will, kind of further push the Zerg player back. But morphing in some Banelings here is going to be able to deal a lot of damage before all these little Zerglings can get cleaned up. Yeah, he's going to go down the ramp here.
Yeah, very well placed stasis work, but really it's just prolonging. I mean, the Zerglings can't be killed while they're in stasis, so it's just kind of prolonging this a little bit.
And our Zerg player as well, already taking a 3rd base, just leaving all those turrets, the photon cannons back, just completely ignoring them. So they're going to be, worthless investment. Here comes 4 more Banelings. They are going to be able to get the pylons down. 1 pylon just barely surviving there with 2 health. This has been a wacky game.
Yeah, but she does survive for now.
Yeah, for now. And spore crawlers are in place at the bases, so the Air Force, she gets it going. Two of them ready to go. These oracles, not really going to be able to do much. Just really the 3rd base, the only one that's vulnerable right now. That is where she's heading, but spore crawlers on their way there will be a little bit late, so some damage going to be done here. But the
4 drones going down so far.
Yeah, the resource count here though, and the supply 72 to 35, and November. I mean, it's just the other aspect of it is she's stuck in her base.
Yeah.
Like she's re-expanding at her main, but that's to like a halfway empty mineral field. It's just not going to work in the long run. At some point here, she might have to destroy her own buildings if she wants to charge out. And
definitely.
Raza's just like, okay, like, right? Like, he doesn't care. He can take a while here and then eventually like clear out those turrets kind of just to take a 4th base real easily. But,
Yeah, he's just sitting back right now, droning up. getting his this third over here on the left side fully saturated now.
And yeah, it should, go and be a nice little safe venture here for Raza. Building a couple units around over on the side. And looks like he's just going to look to drop these Ravagers in. That's a pretty smart move here.
Yeah.
Just get them around the turrets and do some damage. Obviously going to have to deal with the Oracles and Void Rays and the Air Force in some way. He's got some Hydras on his way, but just going to use these Ravagers to mess with the mining here. It's going to be a pretty efficient return.
Yeah, even if he doesn't kill that pro, delaying mining time was huge, especially since his other base is only half saturated.
Yeah. And he's got Hydras on the way now. Zerg attack, missile attack level 2, the spine muscular augments, and the speed for the roaches on the way. So tech-wise, going to be making a big step up. Void Rays on the way for the Protoss player, but once we have a few Hydras on here, that should be dealt with pretty easily. So basically, the Zerg player, Razas, just be careful that it doesn't end up in any like real sloppy engagements, just feeding a bunch of of army units over. It just has to protect against this sort of meager air force that November has here.
Right. Yep. And it looks like now Raza has plenty of units to turn this around. Gonna be able to pick off both the Void Rays.
Yeah. That hurts. I mean, mainly just of how long those Void Rays take to build.
Yeah.
And November has to have like a critical mass of air force here in order to make it intimidating.
Yeah. November is just so far behind. I mean, she probably felt like she needed to go do something, but I mean, she didn't really have a choice.
Yeah, and I mean, she's going to end up with 2 Void Rays here, but doesn't even really have the resources to spare to like start 2 more going right now.
Right, yeah.
I mean, she could, but it's just also like, ugh, it doesn't seem like the smartest decision. So she's just showing on some resources right now, like thinking up a game plan. Meanwhile, Raza just flies an Overseer in right in the middle of the main, and it's like, okay, I see you got a main up, but November's just sitting on those resources, not even building those Void Rays right now.
Yeah, putting down a Robo, so possibly like a tech switch, getting some adepts now.
Yeah, definitely some sort of tech switch is going to be needed here. The Zerg player's already seen what is on the table. I think it's just about going to be like an A move for the win, though.
Yeah, Hydras are en route now.
Yeah. Two spires going down. The double spire.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It's just...
You gotta have a lot of gas to support that.
Yeah, and he's heading in that direction.
Yeah.
Doesn't really care. GG's called.
All right, GG. Evens up the score back to 2-2.
Well, grilled cheese sandwiches are delicious. Sometimes cheese fails, but it's still a joy to take part in it, witness it. It was a nice try. As a Zerg player, I'm sort of happy that failed, but I still enjoy seeing good cheese, and I would have enjoyed seeing it succeed, So, but that ties up the series 2-2. November, using that series lead to serve up some cheese, and was a fair shot at it, but just couldn't quite recover after those drops. Sort of after the initial cheese didn't really quite fully pay off. Maybe could have settled in, but the drops from the side and lack of army of November just dealt too much damage. She was not able to recover.
Alright, trying to figure out who's going to be playing next. Okay, I think Snoopy's going to play.
Cool. So we're on to I guess we have one more Masters, and then
Yeah.
our Grandmasters for the last two. Awesome. Well, we'll see who can pick up a lead going into those final games. But either way, the series will not be decided until the sixth match, just based off of where we're at. So that's pretty fun. But definitely still will be having that seventh game regardless.
Oh man, I don't know if you've had this problem, but my headset has been um, shocking my ears, like giving my ears like little electric shocks. It's so crazy. I've never had
No,
that happen before.
that sounds nutty.
Yeah, it's really weird. I looked it up on. I did like a quick Google search, and apparently it's happened to other people before. So
You're not alone. There's literally dozens of you.
yeah, there's. I mean, it's just tiny little electric shocks hit my ear. It's really weird.
As long as they're not like giant shocks, I guess, right?
No, it's not painful really at all, but it's just really strange. Alright, so we're into the next lobby. It's going to be Blackpink. A Terran versus Terran.
Nice. King Fire Green up against dash 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 dash.
Yeah. Barcode.
Is Mark? Is that's a good name for him. I like that.
Mark? Alright, we'll
Mark.
go with that.
All right. And actually, Zerg versus Terran.
Oh, it's a... Okay. Yeah, excuse me. He did change his race.
No, he tricked us. He tricked us.
Yeah.
It's not your. Yeah, it's not your fault. It's not your fault.
So another one of the smaller maps in the pool. Pretty short rush distance compared to the rest of the maps.
Let's see if that does lead to a different strategy here for our Zerg player, representing Psionic Aftermath in the top right. Going to be King Fire Green.
Right, and in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the blue Terran from EndPro. It's Mark.
Yeah.
Barcode. Not sure
Mark.
what name they wish to go by, but
Yeah, well, if you don't type it out, you don't give us something
yeah,
from
yeah.
nonsensical. That's just the facts of life, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to be a pro gamer with a pro name, then you got to use a pro name. And looks like we're just gonna get the hatch out a little bit later than sort of standard these days. He's doing 18 instead of that 17. He's already got his gas going as well. What does it mean?
Yeah, very good question. SCV scout on the way. Gonna pass underneath this overlord.
And I say like usual, but entirely sure what the kids are up to these days. You know, I read up on the build. I saw some image on our StarCraft, and I used to do like 14 hatches, and I'm like, oh, 17 hatch. I guess that's what I'm supposed to do. So, 18 hatch. Whew. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I don't know. Maybe possibly could have been a mistake, but.
Yeah, he's definitely now going to be just sort of backed up on his minerals with the spawning pool being a little bit later. As it pops out though, he could basically start his metabolic boost right away.
Yep.
And there we go. So it could have been the game plan, you know, to just get that started as soon as the spawning pool pops. Just kind of a little bit earlier.
Only 2 Zerglings on the way so far, and continue with drones.
With the Reaper on the way though, the 2 eggs of Zerglings and the 4 Zergs that come out of there are going to be deep. And if he can kill that quickly, you know, it doesn't seem too out of time. Our Terran player might not quite realize here that the build is a little bit more aggressive.
Yep.
Good micro from the Zerg player, protecting his limited army here. Queens are out as well, so the Queen getting in a good position here to do pretty good damage and defense against that Reaper. Reaper's going to have to rotate. But already the Queen's there to meet him. Great positioning by King Fire Green. He's also got his overlords floating in a position that will be useful for scouting later. We have Stim working. A factory has just finished up. And now a starport going down. Just drones being built, and looks like third hatch heading out. The Reaper will see that drone rotating, so should just be able to figure that that's what's happening. Reaper will get cleaned up though.
Yep. Stim being researched, so it looks like we're going to go for a bio play here, or a hybrid marine tank.
Yeah, and the Zerg player still has, you know, options open to them in terms of tech. Doesn't have a layer up yet, and will need to start getting some of those building and some of that tech rolling. Can just roll in with some raw Zerglings though to try to see what's happening. There's just kind of see a bunch of regular Marines here. Will probably need a Baneling nest to be able to deal with those effectively. To make sure that it has some Zerglings, 14 on the way production-wise.
Oh yeah. Yep. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea to get a Baneling nest, especially if he's gonna make all these Zerglings.
Kind of oversaturated right now on his expansion. Is okay now going to rotate a bunch of those drones over to his third base. Still though, doesn't have the most gas. Just 1 gas rolling right now.
All right.
And again, I don't see his Baneling nest, so he's not really like prepared to.
Yeah. You know, this is a very common build in this matchup. What the Terran's doing. He's moving out now with 16 Marines and 2 medevacs, and Stim just finished. So this is a very strong attack, but with the right number of Queens, which it looks like King Fire Green does have 5 Queens and all these Zerglings. You don't necessarily always need the Banelings. I'm sure they help, but certain players can hold this with exactly what King Fire Green has.
He's doing a pretty good job too of floating around these medevacs, spotted them out, and as the medevacs were trying to be used to just kind of pick off some overlords, did in fact have the Zergling swarm there to pester them away. The gas still, well now 2 gases going down at that third base. And the Baneling nest going down as well. Also upgrades for level 1 defense and melee upgrades. Liberator coming out here for a Zerg player, or sorry, the Terran player. So going to be trying to utilize that to bring some pressure from the side, force the Zerg player into some sort of kind of tech reaction here. The Marines are on the ground by this third. A lot of Zerglings here though. And no banelings though, so can't just quite pop them down. But still, these Terrans just trying to just slug it out. I don't know.
Amazing stutter step micro there. Actually killing all of those Zerglings. Very good value, cost efficiency right there out of the micro.
Yeah, it always makes me shake my head a little bit as this seeing that happen. But you know,
yeah,
that is the strength of Medivac and Marines. You know, particularly not having any banelings. You need a few banelings in there to soften them up and or to finish them off.
Yeah.
And didn't have any ready yet.
Yep, there's
Still,
some banelings.
yeah, okay, there's a few. But we are getting the split of this kind of drop tactics from our Terran player, as Mark looking ready to go here on the first side of things, with a squad of Marines and some scans clearing out some tumors. Not really going to be in a great position to get a ton of damage here unless he kind of rotates uphill. And the Hydra Den is coming out here, so finally our Zerg player will have some options to deal with the Medivacs directly. And yeah, a little bit more of that value proposition going down, and only just one Marine left here of that kind of drop squad that was working things over on the top of the map here. Third base getting filled up by our Terran player here, so looking for the long term here. Also trying to get some siege tanks up here to make sure that he can deal with that swarm of Zerglings. Fourth base down for a Zerg player. So he kind of sniffs out that, okay, our Terran player is kind of going to have to macro up here. Going to have to make a transition to some sort of other tech here. His Marine play hasn't quite paid off yet, but is getting ready to go with some more forces, but quite a Zerg army ready to go. A couple Zerglings just getting vision of that third base and pestering away a supply depot. It's not going to last.
Yeah, looks like Terran's gearing up for an attack on this Zerg's third base.
Yeah, good positioning by the Terran player. Is going to be able to stretch things out here. Does have that one chip that right now is going to come into the back. The natural here. A few Zerglings available to deal with that, but some damage is going to be dealt. The distraction also quite valuable. Now the engagement going down on the bottoms. Marines picked up. There's a siege tank in the back blasting away at some banelings. Landing the Marines here as some Zerglings coming out to scout out the situation. Going to try to engage here. We'll be able to pick off this siege tank.
Yeah, great spread there.
Yeah, good value for the Zerg player right there. And I think would like to try to engage with these Marines. Could win this battle pretty effectively here. Maybe pick off some medvacs, but right now, good control from the Terran player, keeping the Marines safe and at bay.
Yeah.
Our Zerg player is developing things, though, quite nicely. So harvester count is the same. Another base going down for our Terran player. But the Zerg player getting a little bit more minerals right now.
Zerg will win by trying to go toward the third, but not really doing much. Units already in position. Adding more and more barracks, just tons and tons of barracks. Adding a second factory as well. So.
And we got a couple drop shifts on the bottom of the map, but also our main Terran force here is going to be pulling into the northern part of the map.
Yeah.
And good tactic there. Kind of have an army waiting outside of a base, build a new army, and then turn that old army into your flank army. So they kind of let their guard down. They think maybe your old army is now your new army.
Right.
And meanwhile, that army is going to be coming in on the side while engagement being teased on the other side.
Really
the drop is in.
Tanks, getting huge hits on those Zerglings. And probably,
Oh!
that's really good.
Those were quite good. Not too much damage done to that fourth base. Baneley's rolling in again. Oh, huge! Only about 10 Marines left in those medivacs. There are 3 tanks on the high ground. It's getting quite enough damage done to that fourth base. More Banelings being morphed in. More units being morphed in as well. But there's still kind of some drop units Not really quite enough, though. I think the harassment from the Terran player wasn't really able to accomplish enough. Not another batch of Marines heading in and looking to just whittle down this fourth base here.
Yeah, he really wants to kill that thing, but looks like there's just too much Zerg here now. He's gonna have to try and inch those tanks up forward, then maybe he can get it. Really not.
He's going for one more drop while he's also trying to surge in here with these Marines and get the base down. A couple Marines left standing in there. The Banelings rolling in now, just right on top of those tanks. 2 tanks left. Finishes off the tanks. The Marines are stranded. We do have a drop on the main base of our Zerg player, though not too many drones left there, so can't really get a ton of damage done that way. Also, just overall, our Zerg player doing a good job of planning for the future and not having his tech buildings in a vulnerable position.
Yeah.
So no key pickoffs there. Oh, a surge of Marauders coming in for this fourth base is going to be able to get the finish there. At this point, though, a new base has been constructed in the bottom of the map. So just going to be able to switch those drones down there, get them back to mining pretty much ASAP. Not too much of a loss there. And our Terran player still been on his kind of base structure. Hasn't really made any recent economic changes. A planetary fortress being deployed for that fourth base. Has some tanks around, some other units positioned to help defend. But we might see some sort of engagement in the middle of the map here. Not too many Banelings currently for our Zerg player. And maybe double thinking that engagement, but creating a few more Banelings here. Human player kind of smelling blood in the water. The Baneling's not really correctly positioned here, so the rest of them going to finish up here, but the smoke here aiding. Cancel the rest of those. Oh man, I think that was too bad on the cancel there, but
Looking to do some.
Oh, there was a
pressure.
drop in the yeah.
Yeah, drop here coming at the new fourth base for the Zerg player.
Mm.
Nothing here to defend. He's probably gonna be able to kill a few drones here.
Yeah, drop pressure from the main as well. They just finished cleaning up, so the drop pressure from the Terran player, excellent. Just dragging our Zerg player around here. Our Zerg player now has dropped in supply significantly, 110 to 180, and having issues supplying. Doesn't really necessarily have a ton of larva on hand. And the drops have been solid here. There's still a solid Terran force here moving forward. The Terran at max supply.
Yeah, army supply is, well, the Terran is like double.
Yeah.
Sheer numbers is going to be able to take this.
And I think just doing a really good job of leveraging the advantage.
Yeah.
Now, sending a Liberator into the main, kind of pester away. Forcing engagements here, though, but when it's, Hydras and Zerglings, not really too many Banelings, and not really able to get good engagements here against the bulk of the Terran forces. It's just not paying off very well for the Zerg player, and they're not in the best position with this supply deficit to continue to take these engagements.
Small force of bio down here at the fourth again.
Yeah, that's going to be tough to clean up is the issue. And going to be able to get good damage here. And might actually, yeah, okay, I was going to say, force a GG.
Mm-hmm.
So indeed we do. So, 2 more games ahead of us.
Yeah, our GMs are coming out now.
It's getting serious. As Endless Pro League, their player Mark taking the battle with some strong bio play. It seemed like Kingfire Green was setting themselves up well to, take that game. But, in the end, the advantage that they had in resource collection was just momentary. They never really leveraged that correctly into, an army that could get a win. Those obnoxious bio drops. Just really kind of keeping Kingfire Green on the back foot, and then eventually just getting cleaned up. Just getting PTSD flashbacks on that one. I've had games go that way. You're just okay, like got a good economy. I got some Zerglings. I got some. I was really nervous there for Kingfire Green. Just that initial setup, not really having the Banelings to protect himself, but was able to, make kind of that initial defense happen, kind of solidified things, but then also just, I don't know, wasn't able to put any pressure on Mark. Mark's resource collection then kind of skyrocketed as he just got really, really good efficiency with those drops in his harass.
Definitely. All right. So the next player from Psionic Aftermath is gonna be Guitar Cheese.
I'm gonna just grab a light snack real quick from the other room. I'll be right back.
All right.
All right. Need something to go with that caffeine.
Trying to get this figured out here. Alright, so it's going to be Jardozer versus Jungmin Nam. Or maybe not.
Nice.
It's going to be Jardozer versus someone on Neon Violet Square.
Awesome. Jardos are another Zerg. That makes me happy.
Yeah. One of our highest ranked players at the moment. Very active, streams and plays like every day.
Nice, trying to level up. I like it.
Yeah, for sure.
More Zerg versus T here. Let's see what he's got for us. I want to see a victory. I'm going to see us 3-3.
Yeah. Score right now is 3-2 in favor of EndPro.
I'm gonna pop open a monster. No sponsorship, but let's see a Monster Zerg game here.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you say, Clarence? Yeah. Will we get to Ultralisk? Yes, no.
Alright, so in the bottom right hand corner we have the Pink Zerg from Psionic Aftermath. His name is Jardozer.
Going to be playing up against Zhang Min Nam. That's kind of a tough one. JMN, though. I like that.
Oh, that sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah. Yeah, JMN playing the Terran. And we'll see how things get rolling here. I've had some pretty brutal ZVTs so far today. And maybe more aggression, maybe more bio. Definitely some more Zerglings. That is for sure. Definitely some Marines. We'll see what happens. I'm cheering for Psionic Aftermath's Jardozer here. Newer caster to the community here. Just happy to... I haven't developed a whole lot of player biases or player loyalties yet, but I am loyal to Zerg, and I am loyal to wanting to see series go their full length. So we're going to play all the games, but I just would love to see it be a 3-3 final decisive match.
Oh, yeah.
And that means Jardozer's got to take this one.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, let me just update the score. It is 2-3 in favor of EndPro.
Mm-hmm. And right now, all Zerg player, quote unquote standard, what people are doing these days. And we'll just have to wait a little bit longer into this match to see how players might diverge from the norm. Getting the Reaper going down, and our Terran player does look like he is planning on building a second command center right away here.
Yep. And there it goes.
Jardozer might just scout with that one Overlord, see that, and then kind of have a pretty good sense of how things might develop. We'll see if our Terran player does try to wall off that kind of lower section, because otherwise he's going to be pretty accessible to our Zerg player. And 6 Zerglings on the way. Actually, it's a little bit high.
Yeah, usually you see about 4 to deal with the Reaper, so...
Yeah, Jardozer getting sight of that command center, and then shifting his Overlord to maybe not give away that fact. It looked like he was trying to sneak his Zerglings past, kind of hide his numbers there, but the Reaper is going to see them. Now he's kind of forced to just retreat a little bit until maybe the speed is finished up. Almost gets a good swipe at that Reaper base of the ramp. A second gas has gone down as well. Okay, roaches. I was going to call out the banelings, but instead it is roaches going down.
Yeah, interesting.
There's 2 Hellions coming out for the Terran and a Starport. So
with the tech lab on the barracks, so might be swapping that for Banshees.
Which the roaches could do a good job of just getting some early pressure on our Terran player here. Forcing him to maybe whip out some other tech or slow down, his Banshee approach, if that is what he's going for here. But the Overlord does see this whole engagement here. So our board Jardozer should be mentally preparing himself for what might be coming here. Mm-hmm. He is building 6 roaches at the moment. A Viking is what is coming out first out of that starport.
Yeah.
But there's Cloak. Mm-hmm. The Hellions coming across going to be used to do a little bit of harass here. Roaches are on their way across the map, so they're going to find this third expansion. Roaches are continuing their journey. So got to wonder if you just cancel this third while leaving those roaches running across. Okay, no, he's got enough Zerglings that he feels like the Zerglings can deal with this. Yeah. Could be a good distraction. Is cleaning up 2 of these Hellions. The Reaper is here as well. Pretty good efficiency with those Zerglings. I think that Viking just flew over missed the roaches just a little bit there, but now the backup Hellion's going to run into them. And these roaches going to get a lot of work done. Workers being pulled off the line, but Zergling's coming in here as well. Jardozer is going to get a good advantage off this with his third base already being completed. He also chose the forward third base, so he's going to have a safe fourth base whenever he wants. But in the meantime, already causing a lot of trouble. A Banshee is out here, but the thing is there's just going to be so much damage caused. Spore Crawler is going down as well, so it's not really like those Banshees are going to get much damage done when they finally get across the map here. That just puts JMN in a tough space.
True, but Jardozer is only on 22 drones, so I mean, it's not like... Okay, now he's starting to drone up. So,
yeah.
And he's got his third hatchery.
Yeah. And Cyclones are coming out now, which will be, somewhat effective at dealing with things, but they haven't been able to get out of the base. So now the Zerglings have, again, just showed up to pester.
Yeah, killing more SCVs. Oh my god, the Glacier.
Yeah, it's on fire now, so he's going to have to send somebody over to repair it. He's going to land it, actually, and then have somebody walk over. But, again, just good work from Jardozer, making our Terran player have to commit a lot of resources to just stuff he would rather not be doing. He is going to be able to pick off this one Overlord, though, which will supply cap our Zerg player. He's got to crank out 3 more, but right now he is supply capped. We might see him put down a bunch of buildings here to kind of try to create some supply. Indeed, he does. But our Zerg player, definitely sometimes when you have early aggression go correctly for you, you get a little wrapped up in everything and you get a little bit behind. Yeah. Still, it has one Spore Crawler, is rebuilding some Zerglings now, but doesn't necessarily have all the tech he might want. He's not on... Oh, no, he does have a layer of some expansion.
Right. Yep. Okay, so JMN is going for that third base in the back, but this one only has 4 mineral patches, so not quite as much income as you could get from one of the other mineral patches. I mean, bases on the outside.
Zergling's coming in here now. They're going to meet a bunch of Hellions. Good toasting, and then run away. So that was not very effective.
You just got a little bit of scouting done, but paid quite a bit for it.
Yeah, that was a fair amount of resources. And our Zerg player still does have a supply lead, but it's kind of been whittled away as this game has gone on. Our Terran player's gotten time to recover. He's going to see the tech of our Zerg player as well. Sees that Hydras are going to be coming out fairly soon, but is going to be able to pick off one Queen there. That's a nice little grab for sure. There's not much creep on the map for our Zerg player. As they're trying to start their fourth base, which they put the forward base, the Banshee's coming in here and peppering away at it. It's at like 150 health here. It's got to be careful here.
Oh my god, it got really close.
Yeah, for sure. I was wondering if he's going to heal it or... Looks like the
he could have transfused it as well.
Yeah. One of those Banshees on 23 health. They have... Oh, I guess he must have canceled Cloak at some point because they do not have Cloak.
Okay. Oh man.
So yeah, decided to save those resources as switching to more of a mech build. Terran vehicle weapons level 1 being resourced. This fourth base is going to finish up for our Zerg player fairly shortly here. The fleet of 3 Banshees going to be rotating around. And the Spore Colony just right in the middle, our Crawler, just right in the middle of the line here. So not necessarily in the best place to keep everybody safe. And no real response from Jardozer in terms of rotating people. Now bringing a few Hydras in. Might be able to pick off one. Indeed does.
That Queen survived with 1 health.
Oh, nice. Clutch. And now going to push forward with some of his forces in response to that little bit of aggression. Our Terran player, JMN, now starting to build some refineries down by this 4th location. So might be trying to expand down there fairly shortly. Zergling right on the edge of seeing that. And the Banshee is right by this army. They're going to get picked off, though, but he's going to get a clear vision of that full army.
Yeah, very
he's
good
moving
scan.
some tanks. Yeah, moving some tanks into position as well. Provide some coverage as he moves forward a command center to try to take that 4th base. Our Zerg player has kind of, I guess, sort of lengthened their supply lead there to 40 difference in the supply. Drone count pretty similar, but a larger army on hand for our Zerg player. And Aspire has gone up while also taking up towards Hive. So we'll see what the choice is here. 4th base being turned into a planetary fortress. Some Hellions going out for our Terran player. Our Zerg player does just kind of sees them very briefly, so going to know that there's some on the board and need to keep his 5th base safe here. And those Hellions are actually going to be able to find a... Oh, okay, no. Pulls him back just a little bit. He did have an angle of attack, but now decides to park him on the north of the map. Sees those Zergs through that sensor array, and he's trying to pull his Hellions back now. I think probably feels like he just, needs that army with his fighting force whenever he does get around to it. Just really focusing on tanks right now. A few Cyclones.
Yep, and Zerg opting to take that 5th base on the top right, which is, I think more common, but there's a gold base on the bottom left that people sometimes take.
Yeah, also sort of surprised. I mean, I know you pointed out that the not as many mineral patches back in that back corner.
Right,
You're sort of surprised that a Zerg player wouldn't take it just because the macro patch is kind of nice to have. But
yeah, definitely. I would think it's more common for Zerg players to do, but...
Greater Spire on the way for a Zerg player. We haven't really seen Corruptors yet, but, he's going to be saving those to kind of surprise our Terran army, or Terran players. Some Vipers are out, so if you can manage the micro of those are great for pulling those siege tanks out of position.
Yeah, for sure.
And definitely right now,
what he was just waiting for.
Yeah. Our Terran... Okay, yeah, actually moving in with his whole army attacking the wall here.
Oh my god.
Tanks forward. He's got to be careful, though. I think he's losing a lot here in this fight.
Oh man, yeah, he lost a lot of Hydras there. Did take a lot of... did put out a lot of damage as well, but...
Yeah, he's got to be careful. I mean, there's not too many, tanks actually on the field here for our Terran player. He's got 6 left now. So, I mean, even just whittling away at the 3 or so that he grabbed there is definitely going to kind of keep our Terran player in check. Speaking of our Terran player, he's going to be trying to move down, establish himself a new base, a little bit more territory. Interesting, yeah, as well that he's just staying very vertical with his expansions, not going out towards kind of the center of the map. But that's just sort of the architecture of this map. He's got his wall of supply depots and can just continue to go, down the way, taking base after base. Actually, looks like he is flying out another command center to take that location directly in front of his natural expansion. So we'll present a little bit of challenge to the Zerg player if he gets in there. Right now, the Zerg player trying to set up for that gold expansion. The Liberators are shape-shifting, getting ready into their bombardment mode. These Corruptors, these Hydra, these Banelings have to cautiously deal with this. Oh, nice pull from one of the Vipers, getting one of the medevacs out. See if he can do that again. There's only one medevac here. Pulling a Thor out, I don't know if that's quite the desired target. Now does have a fleet of 5 Broodlords. So this situation is maybe starting to change for the Terran player and how they want to approach this.
Yeah, it looks like Terran's going back home now. And the Zerg's trying to move out, but that sensor tower is going to see this with plenty of time to react. But this planetary might go down here.
Actually, I was going to take out the newer sensory tower and get a couple SCVs here, provided to be pretty annoying. This sort of was the situation that he had been avoiding, of kind of taking that central area of the map, a little bit harder to defend, and his forces really associated with the high ground here on the left. Going to be an engagement here as the Broodlords in position, Corruptors as well, fighting with the Vikings. Hydras on the bottom, maybe not as many Hydras as he needs for this ground force, but the Corruptors and the Broodlords doing all right work here. Our Terran player having some troubles pulling back now as siege tanks and Thors getting weak here. Corruptors providing good air coverage for those Broodlords to do their work. He's actually going to morph in a few more Broodlords. Not much ground forces here, so has to be a little bit careful, making sure that those Broodlords are protected, but they're going to go to work on that planetary fortress. The singular Thor coming in here now, but Broodlords switching their focus to make sure that he doesn't creep up on him. And some Hydras coming in to support the ground forces as well. And the situation is definitely turning against our Terran player here, JMN, and is now starting to get brutally contained. The gold base has been redeployed for our Zerg player. 1 worker at the bottom base for the Terran, and he has been cut off from his lifeblood right now. Vikings trying to push a little bit of space out. Thors and siege tanks, but now the Broodlords just going to be able to spit their little broodlings forward, chip away at this. Corruptors here as well. The Corruptors have to make sure that they don't go down to all these Vikings. Oh, Broodlords now. Vikings coming in here. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, so many Vikings. I think all these Broodlords are going to go down.
Nightmares for Zerg players right now.
Coming in there.
Slowly creeping in. But that was just like so much value thrown.
Right, yeah.
And you know, I thought I was hot shit earlier today when I managed to tech up to Broodlords, and that was about what happened to me. You know, when I was talking about like losing my arm. Hot second there. I had some spore crawlers, and I was like throwing a spore army. I was like harassing. I was like, yeah, that was awesome. And I like had a bunch of Hydras. I had a few Broodlords, and I was like, dude, my army is so great. And then like all of a sudden, you know, my land forces die, and then my Broodlords just get picked off, and then I'm like, I hit that select all army unit button, and it doesn't do anything. You know, because there's nobody.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he had some people left over, but like that was brutal. He might have just thrown, you know, his entire advantage down the drain there. You know, I don't think quite entirely, but like you look at that mass of Thors and Vikings now, and he needs to switch it up. So he's starting to get the land force again. That we might have a fairly even exchange here, where, you know, if our Terran player can win the next fight, then he will really have solidified the comeback. These Hellions getting into place and doing some harassing should be able to get good worth for, you know, how many of these high mineral drones that they're killing. Also does scout the base all the way on the bottom there. So gets a little bit vision of where the Zerg player is going. Zerg player, conversely, might want to just expand, take that top right base just to really ensure that going to have some safe farming going on. Broodlords and the Zerg army starting to get into position here to attack. Vipers going forward, seeing kind of what's happening here. Broodlord landing, getting on top of those tanks, but Vikings coming in from the damage on are not right on top of those Broodlords. So they're kind of split up. They're soaking up the wrong sorts of damage. The Thors chipping away at those Corruptors and doing a bunch of damage when they're all bunched up. There are, I believe, no Broodlords left on the map.
Yeah, all the Broodlords go down. Most of the Zerg army goes down. I think he only was able to save a few Corruptors and maybe a Viper or two. More Broodlords coming in, though. He did kill all the Vikings, so they might actually be able to do something now. They'll probably definitely be able to hold this push that Terran's trying to.
Yeah,
out.
7 Thors is.
Around.
Yeah, and he's gonna. Okay, just a Viking on its way. He's got plenty of tanks here. He's sending some SCVs over to repair his Thors, but definitely it's a good question whether, his next engagement here, if he'll be able to deal with these 7 Broodlords, again, backed up by these Hydras and this Zerg army. Our players definitely bashing their heads against each other. Some upgrades, level 3 armor finishing up for our Zerg player.
Yeah.
That'll help out for sure. He's getting in position again to have a fight on this main base. With the sensor tower, he can have his movements detected, though.
Yeah, he sees everything right now.
Yeah. That command center by the gold base gets spotted out and canceled. Ooh, a barracks being floated in. I love these late game Terran strats.
Yeah.
And wants to fight while his barracks is in here floating and distracting. It's soaking up just a little bit of damage, but Vikings, Liberators, Thors trying to go to town here against these Broodlords. Yeah, now he's sieging them up. There's only about 5 Thors left here. Thors starting to get whittled away here, but there's no more Broodlords, just Corruptors, but the Hydras have done the work. They have carried the Zerg player into winning that battle. There's not much left for the Terran players in terms of units. 75 SCVs. I don't know how that's going to stack up against the 18 Hydras our Zerg player has right now. Certainly, everybody's going to be building like crazy, but 10 Liberators, I don't know if that's really the counter to a swarm of Hydras. Especially when you have Corruptors and some other people that can kind of soak up the load of what the Liberators are throwing in. A swarm of Zerglings coming in here as well. Jardos are going for the kill here. Kind of switch to some basic tech to try to get out here, try to get on top of our Terran player. Is causing some major problems, but these Liberators are going to be stopping these Broodlords from morphing in right away. But Hydra dealing with these Liberators. Broodlords out here as well. The Terran player getting his production jumped on top, and I think we're going to see a GG here momentarily. Oh, WW. Excuse me.
WW. All right.
That was a great game.
Yeah, definitely. Evens up the score now, 3-3. So we're gonna be on ace match.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, that was pretty exciting. With Jardozer getting a good lead with that early game Zergling attack and his pressure, utilizing his army value to just kind of hamper the resource collecting of our Terran player, keeping him on the back foot early. You can see just kind of his early expand, his early work got him in a little bit of trouble. Wasn't able to defend against the Zerg aggression properly. And, well, now we are on to a final match here. 3-3 in this clan war.
All right, we've got like a pro level match here.
Ooh. For the decider. That's exciting.
Both 6K plus MMR players. Although Guitar Cheese is kind of coming back from a break, so he's a little rusty at the moment, but definitely going to be a good matchup. Even matchup here. Another Zerg vs Terran.
Awesome.
Oh, and the last map we can play on is Battle of the Boardwalk.
Okay.
Much smaller map. Actually, the smallest in the ladder pool.
Oh, sorry, let me accept.
Alright, both players ready. We're getting into the last game of the night.
Awesome. I'm hyped for this. 3-3 so far. Zerg versus Terran, our matchup again here. Psionic Aftermath versus Endless Pro League Gaming. Battle on the boardwalk.
Yep. Interesting map. So we have a short, it looks like a short rush distance, but there is like kind of a thing you have to go around, so it's not as short as it may appear right off the bat.
Yeah, this is a weird one. I was sort of surprised when I first saw this one and jumped on it. And section in the middle is kind of funky. I think our overlay is still working. I'll fix that real quick.
Yeah, yep. Should be good now.
Excellent.
So in the top left-hand corner, we have the red Terran from EndPro. His name is Vindicta.
Over on the top right, it's going to be Guitar Chief. He's going to be representing for Zerg players everywhere.
Absolutely.
All right, they're pulling for him. We'll see what he can do here up against our Terran Vindicta. And thus far, you know, straightforward 17 hatch opening. No 12 pool, nothing crazy. Vindicta sending SCV over to get some scouting a little bit here.
A little bit of a variation out of the Terran builds, though, going for the gas after the barracks, which is kind of an older opening. Not very common anymore.
Still checks out, though?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it leads me to believe he'll be doing the 2-on-1, which is what we saw earlier with that stim medevac timing. It's just not quite as common in the matchup anymore.
Okay. He's building his second command center just right ahead on the low ground. And our Zerg player is going to spot that out, so he's going to have clear vision too when the first Reaper comes out and starts his move over. Yep. And going for 6 Zerglings here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 6 Zerglings again. Instead of 4. Oh, okay, so 2 going around. Probably going to try and get that SCV building the command center, if they can. Get there in time.
Yeah, I was going to see his Overlords getting chipped out, obviously. He got to see the reactor going down. And these 2 Zerglings will find this singular Marine. Finish him off. And not going to be able to get that SCV in time.
Right.
The building is going to just finish up super close. Pulls the damaged SCV in to save its life as well there. So a nice little touch with that.
Yeah.
Is going to force this reactor to sort of come back. Sees the factory and it's going to delay the switch. Oh, okay, never mind. Killed, yeah.
Yeah.
Thought he was get in there.
Looks like a tech collab for that starport again. Gonna be swapping those out most likely. Hellions also on the way.
And we got a swarm of Zerglings on their way over. Good results with this.
And a Roachworn is finishing.
Oh, okay, fantastic. Yeah, so the Zerglings are going to come in here.
Oh,
He tried to block it off. He just missed it. And now, oh wow. Just barely.
Yeah, just
So
barely.
unlucky on one side, lucky on the other.
Mm-hmm.
And
But with these roaches coming up here soon, he'll probably be able to bust down that wall.
Yeah. And the cloak being developed as well as a banshee, but kind of once he sees that, you know, should get a feeling for that or know that he'll have to kind of defend against that response. And the supply depot wall is going to go down here now. But he's also got a bunch of roaches, so that it's just going to kind of give like a fake sense of illusion, safety. Hellion's coming back in the Reaper to try to hold it down. Doesn't cancel it. And they're going to storm through here. They have a good collection of forces, but Banshee is out, so just be able to slowly chip away at it due to the lack of anti the Zerg are offering right now. But they're going to be able to kill some drones, no problem. Trying to charge up this ramp as well. Throwing down some Ravager shots at Corrosive Bile on that supply depot. But, you know, with that Banshee just chipping away, they do get one depot out. Cyclone's here. The Cyclone's going to get surrounded. That's a little unfortunate timing. Some more drones are going to go down here as well, our SCVs. And grand total of 14 being picked off.
Yeah, Guitar Cheese is head-on workers after all that. 32 to 19. And I would have to say it's looking pretty good for Guitar Cheese so far.
Yeah, he's going to just have to defend against the Banshees here, and then anti-air tech. You know,
yeah, he's already got
hydras
spores up.
But yeah, already spores, so it's not going to be too much damage. You know, even with Cloak finishing up here, yeah, there's not too much that he can do here. The layer is just mutating, so no overseers, but with the spores in place, he doesn't really have to worry about it all that much. And there's the Cloak indeed. Just going to be able to pick away at a few things with that. Is sending his Hellions to come in here and harass, so we'll have to be a force of Zerglings ready to go here while these Banshees so in the mix. Zerglings coming out but getting toasted pretty rapidly here. Banshees coming back to cover. Some roaches, some more roaches on the way. One of the queens getting taken very low. Nice transfusion. And continuing to be good micro though with I guess both these Banshees and the queens as well. The overseer's out here though, so kind of most of the Cloak shenanigans will be coming to an end. Our Zerg player still hasn't expanded to a third base though at this point.
That's true.
Yeah, and our third command center is well underway. So our Zerg player kind of gotten, I don't know, sucked into an offensive mindset, wanting to be aggressive here. Roach speed claws are being researched, but a decent chunk of the way is off. And now these Banshees actually kind of sniffing that out. So those roaches not able to get kind of like far enough across the map to really commit to doing damage. Definitely a tough situation for a Zerg player here. He's got to make sure that he doesn't, you know, end up losing that macro advantage that he got earlier. Picks off a Viking that was landed with his roaches. That's a nice little worth. Spire is going out here. Now sending out that third hatch. And sending his roaches around, not down the kind of side boardwalk. The Banshees coming in here. Queens have seen them. Overseer providing the detection as well as more Queens rallying. And going to attack with these roaches. He's going to spot this third command center. but also going to eat a bunch of shots from some siege tanks. So maybe a little too late with these roaches. Going to be able to kill Hellions. Banshee's coming back, though. This is easy cleanup and not a valuable trade for Guitar Cheese. This is going to see, of course, that third, but you know he's behind on bases. And we also have a drop getting ready to go here from our Terran player. 6 mutas on the way, but you know.
Yeah, Guitar Cheese's third is about to be finished, but he is going to be behind on economy because Vindictus has his third saturated slightly quicker, and also has 3 mules going at the same time. Oh man, and Vindictus is dropping here at the third, almost killing that hatchery, or getting it down about halfway.
Yeah, it was pretty close. And Guitar Cheese being a little coy with his mutas. I think he actually had an opportunity in there to maybe get a few shots while things were still in the medevacs, but now having a fight with his other units there as well. Going to be able to catch up that second medevac, so that drop's been cleaned up. At the same time, there was a drop up top that I think got a few drones, perhaps. He's still kind of straightening that out, getting his drones back on gas. And rotating them all around. So, yeah, he's getting his drones on his third. Coming around with these mutas, run into a missile turret on the expansion. Missile turret's ready at the main as just going to have to fly around. There's going to be on that third expansion as well. Really not a ton that he can do here with these mutas. Find a supply depot to pick off, but it's like, you know, no big deal, right?
All right.
Good swarm of siege tanks and you know, other troops, Banshees and Bio in the middle of the map for our Terran player. Our mutas might sort of run into this. Oh, he's gonna bump into this medevac, but can't even quite finish it off in time. Okay, we'll get it as that Hellion is dropped there. Gonna pick off a little. Okay, no. Could have picked off a supply depot, but he's gonna keep those mutas like rolling around and unpredictable. Sticking with Roach Tech here, just getting his level 1 upgrade for those roaches into place. Does have armor. The Terran is halfway through researching his equivalent upgrades, but without any really anti-air here, it's kind of tough. These Banshees have a lot of immunity. The Zerg player going to have to back up here, trying to engage and get some good corrosive bile shots in. Actually, some nice ones coming in here. And Siege Tank's just tanking up now. Is going to be able to clean those up pretty easily.
Man, very good.
Muta's coming in as well. Yeah. That was a great fight for a Zerg player.
Yeah, definitely. And it looks like he's going to be counterattacking, just marching across the map now. Only 1 tank here. Plenty of Marines, though.
Yeah, definitely. Has to be a little bit cautious here. It's trying to work in Bile, but doesn't land the best shots with that. Now it's just trying to overpower these tanks. Has a bunch of Ravagers left over, and indeed seems like has won the gamble in terms of breaking through that tank line.
Yeah.
But at what cost? Doesn't really have too many of these troops left.
Yeah.
They're going to get cleaned up as well.
Only Ravagers now, which are very squishy, so he will have to retreat for now, replenish those roach numbers.
It's one of those exchanges at the end you really sort of have to wonder if that was economically worth.
Yeah, he did lose a lot there. But, I mean, the very first engagement over on his side of the map went well for him. I mean, he got a ton of tanks. So I would say, like, overall, it's pretty much an even trade here.
Yeah, Guitar Cheese is trying to get in set to push in again. A whole swarm of Marines, but I think he... will find that base. He wants to fight instead.
Yeah.
Good job. Like, oh, yeah, okay, the scan comes out. The Roach's road does provide a bit of a distraction. He was able to clean up some of the tanks on the top part of this engagement. Now the Marines being pushed over to the bottom left. He's got a good surround going on. The Medivacs and the Marines pushing back. Some troops coming in from the top to try to sandwich them. SCVs coming in to distract as well, though the Marines are hammering away. But not too many Marines left. 4 more or so join them. A few more coming down from the top. But these roaches have been able to get great work done here.
Definitely.
The Marines getting kind of separated from their medevacs here. We'll see where these corrosive bios. The roaches kind of getting surrounded here.
Oh man.
More are rallying in though, and this is costly engagement for our player. He's getting distracted as more roaches coming in from the side as well, chipping away at these SCVs who had to stop mining. That last base on the bottom too is not mining at all. These SCVs being pulled off the line in order to keep these roaches at bay. But the roaches are streaming forward. Ravagers being formed here. And quite a few for our Zerg player at the ready. And our Terran player now, no tanks, just Marines and medevac.
And he still has those roaches in the top right there that were burrowed.
Oh yeah, they're going to be chipping away at a supply depot. This engagement as it comes in the tank gets finished off. But the healing from these medevacs is great.
Yeah, they are pretty much out of energy now at this point though.
Yeah. And those roaches that you pointed out did get some good work done in the back. He's going to burrow those again. That just, you know, those scans are kind of costly when you're trying to make a comeback, trying to put down some mules wherever you can. And the roaches here trying to transform some into Ravagers. He has to cancel all of those. This good and he's GG's out.
Wow. Yeah, he was still on three bases. It was definitely like an all-in with all those roaches. Like he pretty much completely stopped drone production and macro and just started funneling roaches. I mean, almost had it, but
yeah, definitely. And that was a tough one. Guitar Cheese, good pressure. You know, obviously it takes resources to diversify your. He had been able to slip in some hydras earlier. If he'd been able to maybe chip away at those medevacs, if that would have allowed him to possibly take it there. But a great back and forth there with Vindicta just kind of hanging on and being able to just win some good fights and keep his economy rolling.
mm-hmm.
Those tanks, those Marines, those medevacs, you know, some really nice fights.
Yeah, definitely. So EndPro will take the series 4-3. GG's. Congrats to them. That will be it for tonight's stream. I believe we have another clan war going on tomorrow night at 7:30. I can look it up right now. Oh, actually, it's going to be 9 o'clock. So yeah, a bit later than this one started. Hope to see you guys back tomorrow. It's been a pleasure casting with you.
Yeah, definitely. Drop. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so that's going to be it tonight, guys. If you guys haven't already followed the channel, not only do we have a clan war tomorrow, we have more stuff going on this weekend. We got stuff going all the time, so definitely follow the channel, get to see when we go live. And anything else you'd like to add?
Well, people can follow me over on Twitter, X Television, find things I do. I want to give a quick shout out to my Kickstarter for the I Like It Nerdy Esports Arcade. We're trying to open up in Portland. Give us a check. Even if you don't live anywhere close by, I would appreciate some more eyeballs and sharing that around to friends. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. Enjoyed being here and looking forward to joining you guys for some more casts, tournaments, clan wars, all sorts of fun StarCraft stuff.
Definitely sounds good. All right, guys. Again, it was fun cast. GG's, everybody. Good night.
Yeah, see you next time. Peace out.
All right, see ya.